Welcome back to the CADCAST. It has been a long time since our last installment here at the CADCAST recording studio, but we have the new setup now. I have new tech, new stuff, and so hopefully we'll now be able to get back into it. So for this first episode, it's going to be me by myself, no Chris, no guest. And I've been wanting to do some of these solo episodes for quite a while because I have a lot of things that I like to talk about that some other people might find boring or just not show interest in. So, a timely one that I want to talk about, as of actually a month ago, today's the 1 month anniversary of it, the launch of Cyberpunk 2077, with the long awaited game by CD Projekt Red, developers and publishers of the Witcher series. Cyberpunk 2077 has been in development for many years. I think almost 8 years, if I'm not mistaken. And it launched, and on many platforms, it was a complete fucking dumpster fire. And on many other platforms, it didn't run really good. And I want to do a little bit of compare and contrast with that of Cyberpunk, and also a game from the past that had the same sort of issues. And that game being Bioshock Infinite. And how games change over time, over the course of development, and how games should not be elevated to godlike standards. So if you're not aware, Bioshock was a game series from the late 2000s, early 2010s, developed by Irrational Games, and it is one of the most influential, the original game is one of the most influential shooters of, I would say, forever. It helped elevate modern first-person shooter storytelling games, and I would say it's one of the crowning achievements for atmospheric shooters. The world of Bioshock 1 is rich and deep and heavy, and it is infinitely mesmerizing to explore and to just really get engrossed in this fucking shitty world. And its sequel, Bioshock 2, although not as great as the first one, some people will say, I think is a way better game. The gameplay feels much more substantial. The DLC for Bioshock 2, which is called Minerva's Den, is a fantastic experience. And the feeling of Bioshock 2 feels just a lot more refined. If you have never ever played Bioshock 1, and you've never seen anything of the story, if you're completely blind to Bioshock 1, I wholeheartedly recommend that you play Bioshock 1 blind, because it is one of the most treasured luxuries you can have in gaming as of I guess whenever the game launched. It is a right in my mind to be able to experience Bioshock 1 blind. It is a fantastic experience. Anyway, with such a huge cult classic like Bioshock comes, of course, the expectation for sequels. And Bioshock 2 was developed not by Irrational Games, but by, I think, 2K Marin. And like I said, it's not as substantial of a story as it is for Bioshock 1, but I think it's still a great game. But, of course, there was the long-awaited promise, not even a promise, the hope of a Bioshock sequel by Irrational Games themselves, and more specifically their head guy, Ken Levine, who had a very strong passion for storytelling and a very creative mind when it came to world building and creating this lore. He worked to make System Shock games, which, if you don't know what System Shock is, look that up too. It's the predecessor to Bioshock 1. And of course, Ken Levine wanted to make another game, a Bioshock game, but wanted to do something completely different with it. If you're not aware, Bioshock 1 and 2 are set underwater in an underwater dystopian city. Bioshock Infinite, for the majority of its gameplay, takes place in a flying steampunk city near the turn of the century? Or I think it's the 30s, 1930s or 1920s. Or I think it's in the 1800s. I don't know. Either way, it's an old time, long ago. It takes place in Americana. high in the sky in this flying steampunk city, powered by propellers and balloons and all the kind of stuff you would expect from a steampunk aesthetic. And its first teaser trailer is one of my favorite game trailers of all time. I think it is a beautiful trailer. I love the look of it. I love the aesthetics of it. It looks gorgeous even nowadays. I love it. And immediately, Bioshock Infinite caught the eyes of everyone that loved Bioshock back in the day and instantly became one of the most anticipated games ever. It was for me too. It was new, it was fresh, it was a new mysterious Bioshock game that we had no idea what it was going to be about because it's such a different and insane departure from the world of Bioshock. Bioshock 1 in the underwater city. So the game goes on to development, and we see some gameplay trailers, and it looks fantastic. The first gameplay trailer for Bioshock Infinite came out in like 2010, I think. It is a amazing trailer, and the game looks fantastic. The gameplay looks open-ended and free and detailed. Everything is just it's a well-oiled machine. You know, you have these events that are probably scripted but don't seem like it. You seem like you're just some person in this city and things just happen. Like this bell tower collapses and almost kills you. Or there's this guy on a robotic horse, you know, getting drawn on the street. And then you come across this kind of like sermon thing in a park. This guy, this preacher, and then you pick up this gun for whatever because he's speaking about how you want to take up arms because there's these people trying to fuck up your rights. So you want to take up arms. So you do, but you get juked. You get juked. You get tricked. And it was actually a ruse by this preacher and his friend pulls up and fucking shoots crows at you. He shoots, like, he throws birds at you with his hands, like magic bird hands and shit. And then you fucking fuck them up. You throw the one dude off the fucking balcony and he splats down on some, like, cargo thing. And then it just devolves into this insane fucking tussle in the city. And it ends on this triumphant note with this crazy, huge, like, machine bird coming down to fuck you up. And it looks amazing. Absolutely stellar. If you have never seen that trailer before, even if you have no interest in Bioshock Infinite, I would implore you to look at that trailer. It is amazing. So then the second gameplay trailer came out, and it looked good, looked more story-based than the first one did, but it's still open-ended, still very free, a lot of choices to be made. Very big departure from Bioshock 1, which was an extremely linear game. Very much on a rail for the entire time. Very little chance for exploration. And then there's some more little trailers of enemy concepts and that, and then the game comes out. And it's different. The free roam aspect that you get from the trailers is gone. And it is an exact same sort of formula as Bioshock 1 and 2 are. Linear, level-to-level, story progression. Very, very few chances for free roam. I would say even less than Bioshock 1 and 2. So, what happened? Well, Ken Levine was trying to create this extremely ambitious game, Bioshock Infinite, and believe it or not, their team was not big enough to handle that, and there was many creative disputes and differences, and I think there were some chances where it could have been canceled. Anywho, they hire on this guy, and he comes in and says, hey, Ken Levine, this is what we're doing. This is what we have. This is what we got. This is what we're going to need for the final game. Take that. You're doing that now. No more grand schemes. We're going to revert back to what we know, making linear stories in these worlds, in these stages. And they do. And that's what Bioshock Infinite becomes. The Bioshock Infinite you see in the early gameplay trailers looks stunning. Absolutely marvelous. I would love to play a tech demo of Bioshock Infinite at that time. I would love to experience that world. It looks so fucking good. Then again, the game of Bioshock Infinite that it came out is still pretty good. It's not anything insane, but it's all right. It's a good successor to the Bioshock 1 formula. its story is really good too. It's complex. It's a little headache inducing, but it fits well with the themes and everything of Bioshock. But the real crown jewel of Bioshock Infinite to me is its dual DLCs, Burial at Sea, 1 and 2, because it's 2 releases. That DLC is my favorite thing to ever come from Bioshock. The storytelling in those is fantastic. The stakes feel real, and it ties in amazingly with Bioshock 1. It is a stellar buy, and if you purchase the Bioshock collection for next-gen consoles, and I think it's on PC also, you get all that for free. You get Burial at Sea 1 and 2 for free, and I would implore you to experience Burial at Sea 1 and 2. It is a dense, lovely experience. It is fantastic. And I say all this to preface what Cyberpunk was. In my mind, I think Cyberpunk started much like Bioshock Infinite. This concept, this very broad, very massive idea that everyone loved and poured their heart and soul into. But then because of time constraints, got to cut shit down, and because of creative differences, you got to cut shit down. But Bioshock Infinite is different from Cyberpunk because Bioshock Infinite is not a massive open world game. Cyberpunk is, with many, many, many moving parts simultaneously at once. And if there's anything you should know about open world games, you probably already do know it. They run like shit most of the time. They most never run perfectly all the time. They are just like they're like an engine constantly going fucking all cylinders firing, and eventually when you run that fast you're gonna break, and that's how open world games work. And some break more than others. If there's any company that's a great example of that, I would say it's Bethesda. Most of their games run like ass. I would say their only games that run decently well are the fucking old ones like Morrowind. Other than that, all of them have bugs and glitches and all that shit. But Cyberpunk's no different. Cyberpunk, even though after updates, I think runs way, way better on the original Xbox One, which is what I've been playing it on. But it still has a long way to go until I feel it is worth the $60. Right now, I would say it's a $30 game, if I'm going to be honest with you. Can I complain? No, because I got it free. But Cyberpunk is an example to the gaming industry of what time really does. Time and patience and hard work really does make a good game. It is a key ingredient in the soup that makes a good game. You cannot rush this shit out. And I believe that Cyberpunk got rushed out for holiday season. It came out December 10th. And of course they would want to capitalize on Christmas. Of course they would. It's the best time for any business to sell their product. Do I think Cyberpunk should have stayed in the oven a little bit longer? I would say so. I would say like a month more, honestly, to get rid of all of the bugs. They should have. But they were pressured by the fans to release it because they delayed it already so much. Oh, guess what other game got delayed a lot? Bioshock Infinite, 3 times. Cyberpunk, I think, got delayed like 4 or 3. But it's like I said, it's a essay, it's a piece about what to do and what not to do. But I want to say this right now. If you've not given Cyberpunk a chance, like a good chance, and look past the bugs and the errors, if you look at not Bioshock, did I say Bioshock? My bad. Cyberpunk. If you look at Cyberpunk, I think you will find one of the best experiences for an open world game in the 8th and 9th generation of gaming. Cyberpunk has some of the most detailed, expressive, and personal characters in any open world game I have ever played. Even better than some games with great characters, like memorable characters like Grand Theft Auto 5 or Saints Row 2. I think Cyberpunk 2077 has some of the most deep characters you will ever find. They're all unique, they're all expressive, and the first-person perspective of Cyberpunk 2077 not only is refreshing, but I think helps you feel more immersed in the world. Many of these third-person open world games suffer from that. They suffer from feeling They suffer from feeling disconnected as a player, where you're just like a fly watching someone do their life. But in Cyberpunk, you are the person. You are in the shoes of V. You are exploring the scummy fucking city, and you are discovering the worst of it and the best of it because of the characters. And it is a fantastic experience when it comes to the characters. The story, I think, is also really solid. It reminds me a lot of, like I said, Saints, or like I mentioned, Saints Row 2, which is a deep and serious gangster story. And it no holds bars, no prisoners, serious story. And Cyberpunk delivers on that also, delivering a serious urban story with some moments that are kind of tough to watch sometimes. Sometimes it could get pretty heavy, but that's what makes Cyberpunk special, because it is such a heavy game. This game has some fucking brutal shit in it. Like, I'm only like, I think 10 hours through, and holy crap, you see some shit sometimes if you play with the censoring off, which allows for genitalia and breasts. Holy crap, you see some shit. And it is great. It's refreshing to be able to play a open world game this serious and not have it be burdened by censoring or anything like that. I don't know how the fuck Cyberpunk got an M for mature rating. That shit should have got an AO. But the world of Cyberpunk, also of Night City, I think is very detailed, very deep, very vertical, very in and out. There's many crevices and cracks that you can go into and explore. Many fine details with stories to tell at every corner, side quests everywhere. Some really amazing also interactive areas, like the Afterlife bar. That area is amazing. Or Konpeki Plaza, this fucking luxury hotel run by this Asian company that has its foothold there in Night City. It is a wonderful area, and there are many of those in the game. The fucking Badlands of the outside of the city, the fucking near the docks, you have all these like scummy shanty towns popping up, people living in crates and shit. It is just fantastic. It is a dystopian future that is not only scary but awe-inspiring to look at. The neon lights, how they flash off of the rain, or how the cars all have this shimmer and these detailed interiors. It just really, it's a sense overload, but at its best. And every gun has unique reload animations. I'm telling you, the detail in Cyberpunk is so fucking rich. It puts some of these puts some of these open world games to shame. Fucking flounders. This game dances on them because of how detailed it is. Games like Fallout 76 wish they could be this detailed. Games like fucking Death Stranding wish they were this deep. But Cyberpunk, to me, is it worth it right now? I really think you should wait. I really do. If you're playing on a beefy ass computer, I think you could do it. But if you're playing on console, I would still wait a little bit longer. The updates have helped, but there are more coming. I think there's one coming in February, if I'm not mistaken. But what I'm trying to say here is games change over their development, and sometimes, and not sometimes, all times, it should be expected. Other games have done that too. Like Anthem looked okay when it was first revealed, but it came out and it was an absolute shit show. Destiny changed a lot. The Outer Worlds changed a lot. It's important, though, to quell your excitement, because another issue with Cyberpunk is, because of the early trailers and, of course, Keanu Reeves being a main character in the game, it's going to get a lot of hype. And that hype, I think, was one of its big detriments. People were fucking worshipping this game like it was the god or some shit. People stayed home from work to play it. Are you fucking kidding me? People praised this game before it even came out. And look what happened. You can't, with such magnum amounts of hype, of course there's going to be disappointment, no matter how good the game is. This game, Cyberpunk, could have released no bugs, perfect, great graphics all around, fucking 60 frames on consoles, upwards of fucking 180 frames on PC, and there still would have been people disappointed because of how fucking massive of a hype train it was. And it's just a shame that it had to be for Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is just another game. It is. It's just as much of a game as any other game. It's no special. It's just another open world game, but it's a fucking great one underneath all the bugs and glitches. If you really got put off by those, I suggest you try and stick through it. I mean, really look at the world of Cyberpunk. Really take it all in, the looks, the fucking emotions of this world, because it is really something special, and it's something that I hope gets the updates it deserves, gets the love it needs. Because games have made comebacks since their shitty launches. No Man's Sky launched ass, but it is a fucking awesome open world space exploration game. Sea of Thieves, even though I don't like it, I know many people love it now, even though it was really bad at launch. And I just hope it gets what it needs. That is to say, though, should we excuse games for coming out broken, even though they promise to be good? No. It is, you are spending your money on a product. You expect that product to be good and work properly. You wouldn't buy a $2,000 gaming computer and have a part of it be broken and just tolerate it. So, although I think Cyberpunk deserves a chance and shouldn't get ripped to shreds like No Man's Sky did, I still don't think it's excusable for them to launch this game like this. They should have taken more time, and I bet they knew that. They did know that. They are very vocal on Twitter, and I love CD Projekt Red for that, because they are very vocal. They know what their fans need to hear in order to be a good company. I think CD Projekt Red is a great company. I love their PR, and they do an amazing job with that. But that's pretty much all I got to say this time. Probably not the longest CADCAST ever, but if you listened all the way through, thank you for listening. And I'm going to try and get better at making these. I have some more ideas down the way, and I'll probably get some people back on the CADCAST too and see what we can do with that. But anyway, thank you for listening. Have a good day. I've been Cad, and this was